How
What's up, boy?
looking good, man. That's a good look you got going.
Dude, man.
Looking good.
It's so good to see you, man. You don't even know it's so good to see you.
I like this beard too, man.
Oh, man, this is my quarantine.
I can already tell. You're gonna have a really cool vibe when you're an old man. I can tell it's gonna.
Oh, Papa BJ.
We're all getting older.
Man, I haven't seen a barbershop since I left you in February.
What? I was on the every month or so I was getting cleaned up, but now I'm nothing. Well, that should be the next thing to come back, essentially, right?
I, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, my heart just goes out to people who are like struggling and
Definitely.
hurting at this time, man. Like, it hurts me to like think about that. I'm grateful that we play music, but I'm also grateful that, you know, like we have somewhat of like stability and security. I'm
Yeah,
blessed only because of the wonderful people out there that support us. I'm grateful for them too.
100%. And I was just talking to my college roommate about this, who he's in the industry. He works as a professor and he also works at a venue. And he's saying like, yeah, the first like 2, 3 weeks this was going on, I was really freaking out. But it's not just the music industry; everybody's going through this, so it's not a huge. It makes it easier to swallow. That's for sure. So,
Yeah.
but I know we'll probably come on this and learn from it and be better from it. Hopefully, what have you been doing since
Man,
I saw you?
it's been kind of crazy, man. It's been kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
you know what? There's so much like growth and things to like springboard, from. Not to put all my business out there. Everybody's healthy, everybody's safe, but sometimes things happen.
Definitely.
And this is a good thing. This is an opportunity to grow as a young man, as a son, as an uncle, as a partner, as a boyfriend. So it's gonna be great. I'm grateful.
Nice, man. Have you now you're home Chicago? That's where you decided to quarantine. We're gonna make a move anywhere and shack up at a lake or something or get out of there. So, there are people that have done.
Well, well, so late February, the last time I saw you, we were in Minnesota.
Yep.
So I had an option. Either I can go to Baltimore, Maryland, which is where my partner is.
Mhm.
My girlfriend Shia lives there, and or I can just come back home to Chicago.
And
So I
you've
was
not
like,
been home very much, right? You had been in and out,
I've
right?
been like
Busy.
so in 2019 I had planned to like take a personal, I'm gonna call it shedding break. So after New Year's Eve, after that whole thing, I
Mhm.
was like, yo, it's time to go back into the shed and rebuild.
Mhm.
So January, February, I was going to just continue to like build myself, my body, my mind, my soul, and then going to hit the road hard. But fortunately,
Things
I
change.
got some calls from some of my good friends, and I am not going to just let my boys go without me. So
Yeah,
I gotta go with them.
definitely. Definitely. It's yeah, if you want to brush upon that a little bit, how you've essentially some of your friends you were in a band with the Herd, you were touring with Neil Francis in his new solo outfit.
Oh man, that was great. Me and Neil Francis, I call him Cool Breeze. Me and my boy Cool Breeze go way back 2000, like 14, 15. And so we played in a 7-piece funk band
Mhm.
called The Herd. And we toured all over the country. We were like the new funk opening band for like Lettuce, the new Master Sounds, Dumpster Funk,
Yep.
Chicago, um, and like a list of others. And so me and Mike and Neil, Mike is the bass player. Me, Mike, and Neil, we developed a special synergy.
Yeah.
You know, so I live in a town called Bolingbrook, Illinois, which is about 25 minutes west of downtown Chicago, of the city of Chicago. So I would have to drive into the city So if it's 25 minutes to drive out, it's going to be about 30, 45, sometimes an hour to drive into the city
Yeah.
during traffic hours. So I would drive into the city around maybe 11 o'clock a.m. so I can get to the practice space in the city. So I would practice by myself from about 11 to about 2
Mhm.
p.m. I take a break. I would go maybe 20 minutes north, or no, 20 minutes south, so I can visit my grandmother. I would
Perfect.
spend maybe a couple of hours with my grandmother every other day. And then I would go back to the practice space at about maybe 5 o'clock, shed for another hour, because we had practice on, I think, Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes Thursday. So I would shed by myself from 5 to 6. Practice was at 7. We would practice like the full band, horn section, everything from 7 to 9, and from, I would say, 9 to 11, me, Mike, and Neil was
Hanging.
in the shed by ourselves, cutting our teeth, working.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about shedding and dedication, and essentially how we talk about this all the time, where it's like it becomes an extension of what you do when you wake up every day, is trying to get just a little bit better. If you want to, yeah, if you want to mention, just like musicians call it shedding or cutting your teeth, where I look at it, that's like the blue collar aspect of the job, where you're going in there and doing the heavy lifting and the work. Because what the people see is they only see the 1%. When they see us on stage having a good time, they don't
Right.
see the decades of work. And I talk to my wife about this all the time. She's like, oh, it must be nice being able to pick up other gigs and stuff. It's like, I've been doing this since I was 14, man. Like, I didn't just pick this up yesterday. But yeah, let us people know about like the idea of shedding and just personal growth and stuff like that. How it relates to you and your musical journey.
Okay, well, shedding, I call it drum ethic. Drum ethic works contrapuntal to my life ethic and
Okay.
my work ethic. So if I want to achieve anything in my life or on this planet, if I want to achieve a goal, if I want to reach a new height, I have to prepare myself.
Mhm.
And it's not just about like the physical preparation, it's the mental also.
Definitely.
So in order to physically, um, I would say, administer, it's important to like develop philosophy. I mean, philosophy and the wisdom, and you study this stuff. So shedding to me, I'm gonna call it honestly, it's like a love hate relationship, all because I'm not just practicing just like, no, I'm
Yeah.
working on things
Things you
that are
weaknesses.
very hard.
Yeah. And
Like
that,
it's hard for me to conceptualize. It's hard for all of my limbs to like communicate and work together. So it's a love hate thing, but I hate to love it because I like to work hard, you know.
good.
So when some people see us on the shows and on the gigs and we're having fun, it's because we put a lot of work in. You know, I can fully express myself. I can have fun. You know, I can let all of that passion out
Yeah.
freely. You know, because
You put the time in. Yeah, and I guess it's funny you mentioned that too. When you do have the idea of preparedness and readiness for what the situation calls for, and you know it's going to be easy, then you could actually start pouring passion and energy into the show on a personal level instead of just being like almost like a technician, so to speak, and get
Right.
the job done.
That's right, man. Yes. Also, it does help to be around awesome people too, because
Yeah, no, that's one thing for all this. If you're not surrounded by good people and people you want to be around with, it's pretty evident. And I've talked to a lot of people how lucky we are. A little weird, strange microcosm family works, but
yeah,
it's been working. So
man, it's one of the coolest things. You know, it's like I've never been. I don't want to compare this to any job, but I've worked many jobs in my life, but I've never been a part of a family like this. I have my family that
yeah,
that I've grown up with my whole life, but everybody goes to work or they have their little hobby and it's cool. So when it's over, everybody goes to their separate, houses or whatever. But man, George, I missed you, man. Like, I was talking to Dave, man, the other day. I'm gonna tell you some stuff about what Dave did, but I was talking to Dave the other day, and it's just like Dave is my brother. Andrew is my brother. You, my brother. Mikey. Ed, I haven't like physically talked to him on the phone, but me and Ed's been going back and forth because of the Michael Jordan Last
We'll
Dance
talk
thing.
about that later. That I was going to ask you about that too. Get to that. We got plenty of
Yeah.
time.
So it's a beautiful thing to be a part of a family. And since we are men, we are brothers. So this is a brotherhood.
Definitely.
Iron sharpens iron, one lifts up the other. If one's having a bad, especially Andrew, I can't forget my boy, Andrew. I'm sorry, brother. Andrew is literally, I look to my right every night and he's right there, right there. And it's not just like he's playing keys, that's a drummer.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so cool to look to my right and see another drummer grooving. Dude, I am so sorry for forgetting my boy Andrew. So it's so cool to like not only play with a drummer, but a drummer that you can like seriously connect with on a spiritual level, deeper level, far past music.
on a personal level. Yeah, that's important. And I think there's some of that chemistry that you can't really try and recreate. You're just lucky to be a part of it and have it and glad that it works. And I think we've been fortunate enough to have that. So, but I am excited to get back together whenever that is. What have you've been spending any personal time on anything during the quarantine that you've been really digging? Any old hobbies or new hobbies or anything?
Yes. And this hobby encompasses silence.
Hmm.
This is very important for me in my life. What we do, I'm not saying it's a lot of noise in a negative way, but it is very easy to like get caught in the hype, which means that all this stuff's going on, lights, people pulling you left and right, and music, and this and this and this. So there needs to be a place of balance
Definitely.
in my life. So now I sit in silence so I can not just think, but so I can commune with God. I need to be able to hear and feel, my direction. I
Understand.
want to know, do I go left? Do I go right? Or do I just sit still and relax and just take it all in? So, this season in my life, this season, I'm going to say this quarantine season has been, it's like a soul searching season, and it's good to soul search. Like some people learn lessons under pressure. So when your mom says, "Hey, George, don't touch the hot stove," and you touch it and you get burned.
Yeah.
So some people just learn, "Hey, George, don't touch the stove," and you don't touch it, and you learn from don't not doing that. So this is a season of me just focusing myself, learning, cleaning out my old clothes in my closet, metaphorically.
Definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
so and that's a good thing because to prepare for the new clothes, you got to get rid of the old clothes. So
Definitely.
those old habits, those old things that used to hold me back that were okay, but now they're starting to hold me back because I'm moving forward. I
Yeah.
got to let that go. I
Yeah.
got to put those clothes away.
Definitely. And
So,
it's funny you
so
mentioned speaking to Dave about that because Dave and I, when we had our conversation, we brushed upon that. And I know you're a strong advocate of this too, is trying to make every day the next day better than the day it was before, even if it's the tiny, smallest increment, just doing whatever you need to do physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, have some of that move forward. And I know you agree with that too.
yes, that's important. Speaking in terms of like shedding, or just say that you've learned or you've built the endurance to run 10 miles a day.
Which is hard.
Yes. So it took a long time to get to that point. So when you digress every day, not working towards keeping up or exceeding that goal, it's like a day of like, okay, I was here. Now I'm going, and then eventually you're going to be way back here. So if you're not taking, even if it's baby steps in the right direction or a direction, a positive direction, man, it just, you look back and you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of where you were. You won't recognize the old person.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping with all this going on, the silver lining is that every single person, for the most part, has had the opportunity to, like you said, sit in silence and really deeply think about stuff that you might have never had time to do because we're such in a fast-paced society with everything. With everything slowed down, I'm trying to definitely learn how to be more patient and live in the moment and experience things in real time, where before I'd be worrying about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow, instead of just worrying about the now and being in the now.
Hmm. See, I think about you daily
Oh,
because I know Rockabye baby is coming to George's house.
I was
I
waiting
can't wait, man.
to bring that up. Yeah, we got so technically the baby could come at any time, but for the baby to be fully properly ready to come out of the oven, so to speak, it would be like second week of June. But I'm the second June first hits. I was talking to Ed about this because he's like, "You're never going to be ready," but I'm going to try and be as ready as I can be come June. But it's nice having this quarantine time because we set up a nursery. Like, as you can see, I moved all my music stuff in my living room.
Hmm.
But yeah, we're excited, man, and like I've been telling everybody else, we wish the kid was here already at this point. So, but I'm
I'm
glad,
happy for you, man. Like
man. We're
I was I was literally thinking, like, I remember that night it was me, you, and Ed. We
Yep.
were just chilling, talking, after I don't know if it was after show, but we was on the bus. It was late.
It was like
And it
full
was like, not business, but it was like, oh man, it was just, dude, I miss the talk. I miss the hangs, brother.
hangs. I miss just like having lunch with the crew and just like you said, it's a family. And as things progress further and on, and like when we do get back on the road, we'll be able to start doing this stuff on the road and show people kind of the insight of what it's like to be on the road for a day and stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
they want to see that and they'd be interested in seeing the inner workings because it's never boring, that's for sure. Yeah.
And if it is, I'm telling you, like, I could always count on my man Ed. Every time I walk on the bus, I can count on my man Ed sprawled out, laying on the couch with his comedy on, something always going on.
He knows how to enjoy himself when he's not busy taking care of a toddler. When he's at home.
I know.
But rightfully so, he's been raising a kid. And it was funny, I was talking to him when he's talking about being bored and stuff, and he's like, a 2-year-old is bored every 30 seconds. So you're just constantly dealing with all that. Speaking of not being bored and excited and stuff, you did mention The Last Dance with Jordan. What are your thoughts? I still have one more to watch. I was spacing it out because it's such a great show. I didn't want to just binge it all at once. So when it comes out, I've been watching one a day, and I'm on to the eighth one. So what do you, as a local Chicago guy who got to hang at the Bulls facility and do some stuff, what do you think?
Oh man, I forgot about that. Well, okay. I'm gonna try not to be biased here
Yeah,
because I'm born and raised here in Illinois, so I call this Chicagoland. Chicagoland. So I'm born and raised here. I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I'm 1986, so I grew up in 1986. No, I didn't grow up, but I was born in 1986. So by the time 92 hit, which was the first championship, I was watching. I
definitely.
was playing ball. Like I was playing ball at that, age. I was a little guy, but see, back in the day, they had this thing. It was called 2-on-2, 3-on-3, shoot the bull downtown. So it was in Grant Park. They would put rims like basketball hoops. It was a 2-on-2, 3-on-3, like tournament downtown, all because of the Bulls all the time. So, and I was a little kid out there, and my mother, she was like an administrator.
Okay.
So I would have my little, shoot the bull shirt. I would have a basketball. I'd be shooting, having fun. So Michael Jordan has been a household name, you know, in my life since I was a baby. My parents are Bulls fanatics. I grew up with Jordans on as a kid. I just love the Bulls. Now, around let's say 95, 96, that's when I really started to like develop in my knowledge about the game. I started to learn.
You know,
You know,
man.
hmm?
You and my brother, the two people I know that like pay attention and dissect the NBA in a way I'm definitely not capable of doing, and it's good to see.
But you do that thing in soccer though.
Yeah,
You are
that's why
serious about that.
yeah, that's why we have the same commonality. It's just, but you and I can go to either games and have a great time. But yeah,
Yes,
in 95, 96 was when you started really dissecting the game during his break period.
exactly.
My wife from Houston, she's like, "Isn't that when the Rockets went back to back?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Where is Bertha? Where is Bertha? But yeah, man. So I started to like, you know, because it was all over the news. It was huge, you know. It was like an everyday thing. So, you know, as I got older, as I started playing basketball myself in like in school and in the parks and the playgrounds, you know, I began to really watch and study like what is going on, you know, you know, basketball IQ. So
Yeah.
as my IQ, you know, progressed, I began to like look at Michael Jordan in a microscope. It's a, you know, it's from a kid's eyes, but man, that guy, I ain't gonna say he was. That man is amazing, amazing.
They can have all these arguments about greatest ever and stuff like that, but the rings speak for themselves. And like you said, he took two years off in the middle of his prime where they probably would have won two more. But after watching the series, like, I don't blame him leaving after that third, because he said he had beat Bird and Magic, and he's like, I have nothing left to do. He's not motivated. The most motivated guy in the world is like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, he was the most popular human in the entire world at the height of what he was doing. Said he was done, took 2 years off, came back, and then did it again, which is
Right.
incredible.
Incredible, man. The only thing that I'm like, oh, about the documentary is without Scottie Pippen, there would be no Bulls legacy and championship and dynasty. Because when Michael, or so without Pippen, that wouldn't happen. Without Michael, that wouldn't happen either. So those two worked contrapuntal with each other to achieve this big dynasty status, this big, you know, this greatness. So I feel like they show love to Pip, but it's like they highlight more of his mistakes, you know, rather than
Yeah, I just watched that episode where I guess at there's a last second shot that Kukoc took, but
yeah.
like it's not drawn up for me. He's like, I'm not going in, and he's like, yeah, that was a mistake. But yeah, Michael had mistakes too, but I guess they're not going to show that. They're talking
But like Mike, wanna be like Mike, you know, they like, you know, so but
It's
I
crazy.
gotta give love.
I was trying to explain to my wife just how the Jordan brand is far bigger than probably their wildest imagination of anything that would happen like this, from not just clothing, like cologne and
Yeah,
the like we have some friends that work with the NBA, and they've been telling us that like they expect the sport to even get bigger in places like Asian stuff like this. So the amount of money pouring in for like shoes and stuff like that is just going to keep skyrocketing.
yep,
It's crazy. Now you have like a kid like Zion who can sign his first shoe deal and make sure his kids are set for life off the first one.
yep. Man, power to those guys, man. You know, that makes me happy, you know, to see because, you know, tying in drums and work ethic, drum ethic with life ethic.
Yeah.
Every one of those individuals in the NBA, WNBA, every pro athlete, semi-pro athlete, tons of work,
Oh my God.
sacrifice, and determination. You know, just pushing themselves to be the best that they can possibly be. And I more than salute them, you know, because that stuff inspires me.
And there's a
So
bunch of kids doing it too, man. Like, I know how dumb I was at 21. I couldn't imagine that weight on my shoulder and all these people with expectations counting on me, so to
that's
speak.
right.
So
Like
I grew
I
up.
try to like pass that love along to my little nephew. You know, he's 14. He's cool, man. That dude is so cool. And like one of the things that I love about him is at a young age, it's like he just takes his time and figures things out. You know, it's about like the mechanics, you know. So in order to make this work, you have to do this to make that work.
Understood.
So he has learned the philosophy of reverse engineering something, you know, in order to get this right here, I got to do this, this, this,
Yeah.
this, and this.
Well, he's lucky to have such a pivotal figure in his life to take him under his wing and mentor him along. So, and I know you love doing it too. So it's not like it's work for you.
That's my boy right there. That's my little fella, man. That's my boy.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So, you mentioned that you've spoken to some of the guys in the band. Have you been trying to keep in touch with just a ton of different people in your life now? Have you been doing like Zoom talks or phone calls, just random texts here and there? What are you doing?
This is the first
You know,
Zoom call.
there's okay, man, because I've outside of the band, I haven't done much of this stuff, but it is nice to get to. There's a difference when you can look at somebody and see them
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being on the phone.
Yeah, man. Like this, literally, it feels like old times. Like, you know, I talk on the phone and normally I'm just chilling like this. But
Yeah,
man, you give me an energy. Like you guys, Dave, Andrew, the whole band. Like so when I'm talking to especially Dave. Me and Dave be sitting there talking, laughing, joking, man, because like I can feel like the energy. It's good to look at you, man, because it literally feels like we're on the bus, sitting there talking.
wish we were. Hopefully, we'll be on a bus sooner than later. And that's I was talking that about Dave too. Is like we were in the start of like a serious tour where we were just starting to loosen up and all the shows were starting to be good. And like by the time like Chicago came around or New York, like, we were killing it. Like I guess the feeling and the high we would have been on, I'd still be there now, even though it's like almost June. I'd still be coming down off it, but we'll get back to that eventually. It'll happen again.
You know, See, I've just been oblivious to this stuff. Like I kind of like I didn't like step out of that, but stuff has been going on in my life, so I've just been really focusing on other things. But
As you should be at this point.
like I forgot about that, man. Like I forgot about like the anticipation, you
Yeah,
know, building up to the Chicago show, which was probably like the next show, you know.
yeah,
So
that was the second. That would have been the second biggest show of the tour, and very excited to have it happen. We'll get back, but we can't look back in this and be like, oh man, I'm upset that it didn't happen because there's a strong likelihood we'll get it to happen again, and we just need to be ready and prepared that time to make up for the fact that we've missed it and really relish in the moment.
yes, that is exactly what I want people to know. Like, so when this is all said and done, who knows how long it's going to last? But I want, like, in my heart, it just feels like I want to share preparation. Like, preparation is very important when you're going in and out of life seasons. They're going to happen no matter if it's going to happen regardless. So preparation is very important moving into these seasons because let's just say, just honestly, straight up, apples and oranges. If you don't save your money, no matter what type of job you have, if you don't save your money, if you have the opportunity to save some money, if you don't save it, when the rainy day comes, you're going to be in some big trouble.
Definitely.
Big trouble. And not just with saving money, it's like if you don't prepare your mind, your body, your soul for, I don't want to say rainy seasons, but for rainy seasons, you're going to have some problems.
No, life isn't perfect and people go through stuff. So yeah. You mentioned about being the preparedness. There's definitely what I think there's that old saying, it's not how much you make, it's how much you save.
Right, man. That's
Everybody
right.
more frugal in this time. And like, I'll put it this way, man, because when we were on tour, I was this close to buying a bass when we were in Toronto. This this close. And now I would probably would be okay with still getting it, but like I'm glad I have that money for diapers now. So but yeah, it's are you working? What else are you doing to better yourself? Because you're mentioning you're working on stuff, but why don't you give some
I am reading a lot and I am planning a move
uh
very soon.
nice.
So I had three, let's say, cities in mind, 3 states I was going to go to. I narrowed it down to just two right now. So I'm working on it hard. I'm weighing all my options. I'm shopping around. It's kind of difficult to shop around, since I'm kind of stationary, and I just can't catch a flight.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but I do have a lot of people in those areas that I call all the time, and they give me an update. So since I got you on the line, I want to know about your aspirations of like taking up on tenants. Not like I'm gonna be a tenant or anything, but it's like that is a goal, and that's an aspiration of mine too. It's to own something and rent some of that out.
Yeah, to be honest, it was the best decision me and my wife made because we were able to afford to buy a place that we wouldn't be able to afford to have on our own. So having our tenants, it definitely helps to soften the blow of what the mortgage is. And who knows, maybe one day from now it'll lead to another house. But for where we're at right now, I'm really happy about it. And it's good to have just long-term people in there that you care about, and you know that you're helping them out, especially during this weird time where I don't know what it's like in Chicago, but in New Orleans, there's been some really crazy laws that were in place, and people are getting kind of upset with how like the tenant and landlord breakdown was working. But yeah, no, it's as I say, especially now dealing with this gig economy where like I have friends that pretty much sole revenue is coming from Airbnb.
Mhm.
Like they're building some like decently sized empires in town with it, but like that just dries up at once, and you're trying to keep your head above the water, so to speak. So, and that's one thing I'm trying to figure out is just like you said, it's just save. I'm trying to not spend money on anything I don't need. We're thinking about maybe going back to one car because if we don't tour for a while, and I'm gonna be stay at home dad, and Bertha doesn't drive to work, we don't need two cars. So stuff like that. I'm just trying to figure out ways to be more mindful, and I've like you have used this time to really just sit and think about what to do. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I will mention this to you. I am thinking eventually about maybe not trying to spend the summers here. That's how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
That's what's up, man. You just know if I'm still in the city of Chicago, you can always come hang with your boy. I got you, player.
Of course. Hopefully sooner than later.
Hmm. But yeah, man. Like that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been focusing on. And it's great. But I've been doing something else too, George. And I kind of got this inspiration from you, man. I've been cooking, man. I've been cooking.
Everybody's cooking skills have gone up. I'm
Yeah.
telling Bertha because I'm just like she's pregnant, so she gets to eat what she wants. And I'm telling him like I'm serving you restaurant grade breakfast here, man. Because like, I love to cook. I'm cooking all her meals. I'm cooking all mine. What have you been cooking? You have anything new you've mastered or anything you've been working on?
Yes. It's just like little small things, but so I've been getting together with my mom or my sister or both of them together, and we just try like a new recipe. So sometimes it's like a chicken pot pie. We've done, everybody makes spaghetti, but you want to take it up a notch. Nothing kind of basic in my eyes. Everybody has their own little,
Yeah.
levels of basic and whatever. So, but tonight after this interview, after this hang time with my boy, I'm going to go and find some lamb chops, my brother.
Oh, yeah, I know you're a big lamb ball.
I'm telling you, I thought about this because I was like, oh yeah, I got to do this today. I
Have
was like, man,
you have,
lamb,
you have lamb on Easter?
man, what? No, so in Easter or on Easter, like in my family, it's just like it's kind of like Thanksgiving spread, turkey, chicken, sometimes ribs, a whole, Thanksgiving type thing.
People like barbecue stuff. Where like for the Greeks, Easter is bigger than Christmas. Easter is the premier holiday by far. It pretty much it goes Easter, Christmas, then your name day, whatever saint you're named after. But that it's all it is lamb. Honestly, it's a holy week of intense solitude and just like sacrifice because throughout Holy Week you don't eat anything really. You're eating like potatoes and bread. But when that Sunday comes, it's a celebration. It's a celebration. But tell me more about the what are you trying to do with your lamb chops?
This with the lamb. Let me explain, my brother. So you got to get your ingredients together. You got to get your fresh herbs.
Yeah, oh, definitely,
I
definitely.
don't, no offense to people that use garlic powder and all that stuff. That stuff is good, but minced garlic, fresh garlic is perfect. I'm going to get some thyme. Um, I may even try to do like a little. I want to try not mint, but I want to try like a fresh herb too. Something that kind of gives
I would
like a
recommend tarragon.
tarragon. Okay, tell me about it.
I wish I could describe to you what it tastes like, but it tastes like tarragon. Kind of almost like a sage rosemary mix where uh, I've only had it fresh a couple times because my cousin's a big gardener, but he had fresh garlic with tarragon and he made a sauce that he put on some steaks for us and it was
Hmm.
delicious. So it's but yeah, there's a ton of good stuff out there. I don't know, I was talking to Ed. Ed has actually been gardening a lot. So he's yeah, that's don't watch out there, people. There might be some videos of Ed gardening coming. Like so he's obviously cooped up with a toddler, and there was that while where out of like a bunch of people that live in our neighborhood friends, I was just the one going to Costco and Trader Joe's because like I had nothing else to do, and I don't mind doing that stuff. It's like, oh, I'll buy stuff for everybody. So I'd end up buying like diapers and stuff like that for Ed. And he's like, look at my garden. I was gonna look at it and be like, all right, let's see garden. And I went back and was like, God damn, like you got like but he's yeah, that's his favorite thing. And the funny, he named his plants. It's like Chimera, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees. He's got the whole
Yeah, buddy.
so, but yeah, going back to what you're saying, fresh herbs is definitely the key. And on top of that, you have the time to do it now. It's not like you need to be eating Hungry Man's or microwave stuff at this point because you got nothing else to do but cook.
Hmm. So I'm going to prepare some lamb chops. Me and my mom, we did. I like to. One of my favorite things, man. It's like if you're not doing something that you love, then what are you really doing? If you're not eating something that you love, and I'm not talking about if you're gonna eat something that's bad for you, and it better be good. I ain't talking about no processed or no frozen. I'm talking about if you going if I don't like to eat like a lot of red meat or anything like that. But if I'm going to eat some red meat, I'm going to make sure it is of the highest quality and it is a beautiful cut of beef and it's prepared nicely. So me and my mom, I asked her, what is your favorite food? She just said short ribs. So I said, okay, you give me 15 minutes. Went to the grocery store, found me some short ribs, went to her place, went to her house, prepared them up. And she said, you know what? Let's put them in the crock pot. I said, all right, cool. We put them in the crock pot, marinated, not marinated, but cooked for about, I think it was 6 hours. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Those short ribs it was amazing. It was a beautiful like aroma just filling her house and it gave off so it reduced to like a beautiful gravy.
Nice.
So the short ribs itself, amazing. But so we had about maybe 6 or 7 of them left. So the next day I deboned one and we had tacos. So
Damn.
I packed some I put some it was like a breakfast taco. So some eggs, a little bit of short ribs, I would say sliced and I would say pulled, and a little bit of cilantro and freshly squeezed orange juice. Freshly squeezed, my man. It was
Man,
so some good stuff. So that was a beautiful breakfast. It was great.
that sounds good, man. What I've been asking everybody this too. What are you most excited about when things get quote unquote back to normal?
Mm.
This could be this doesn't have to be a long, this could be a simple answer. Mine was I just want to be able to be in close contact with people and like go get drinks at a bar or go eat at a restaurant just to have the interaction.
Hmm. I'm excited for all that stuff too. But it's like I want to dig deeper. Like I want to. Like I never had time to like really like dive in. What am I really most I'm looking forward to? Of course, I'm looking forward to playing and seeing you guys and being back on stage, seeing our friends and and all of our supporters. Um, Man, I'm looking forward to man. I'm looking forward to smiling, man. I'm looking forward to like feeling free and like I feel like it's gonna take a long time to just. I like to hug people, man. I like to shake hands and hug, even when I'm not just giving you like a little hand. I'm bringing you in. So it's like now I feel like since things have transpired in the way that they did, it's like everybody's gonna think twice, and I don't know how you do this.
You're right. You're right. I guess that's something to think about is because I was talking to people about this before too, where it's like just because we could all get in a room and make music doesn't mean that we could have a room full of people watching us do that.
That's right.
Think about. But it's I think we'll figure it out. Do you want to leave some words of wisdom or some positivity or motivation for the people?
Man. So I want to talk about something that's away from the pandemic and what's going on. I want to talk about like creating a space for for like your inner being to grow. So I spoke about this very briefly, but it is important to go back and address like old habits. As small or as big as they are, it is very important to address those old habits because they will prevent you from moving forward. They will prevent you from being the best that you can be. You know, I said this in like another, chat with somebody, but imagine like and receiving big time things, big blessings coming your way, but you still got bricks on your back, all those old things that you've been carrying with you. So you're moving forward, but you got this hump in your back and it's heavy. Or another way, it's like, oh man, it's to move forward and feel fresh and to feel free. There's something special about feeling confident and just free, man. Like fresh air. Like, think about a pool. How you got to put chlorine in the pool so it kills all the germs. Think about a river. A moving, fresh spring river that's always constantly flowing. I want to be that river, constantly flowing and constantly learning and growing. And also, like, I want to pass that love along to somebody else. So, in order for me to even have the love to share, I got to find it for myself, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I want to tell people, like, during this time, because it's crazy out there. So,
Yeah.
man, people are hurting, George, hurting. So, I encourage everybody, if you don't pray, if you don't believe in God, I encourage everybody to just like center yourself, find a place of balance. If you do pray, if you do believe in God, man, put your head down and get in a quiet place and just talk to God a little bit. Listen back, see how you feel, like gain some sense of self-awareness about yourself,
Understood.
you know.
That's some words of wisdom right there. But yeah, man, I'm really glad that I was able to talk and catch up with you a little bit and make sure you and your people are all right. And I'm hoping we can see each other soon. I don't know when that's going to be, but when we do, it's going to be quite a celebration. That's for sure.
Man, I love you, man. I'm so happy for you, George. Like,
Yeah, the future is bright. It will be bright for all of us. It's just a matter of when we can burn that brightness together.